What's up, West Coast Swing fans? In this video, we're gonna give you 3 ways to not look like a beginner in West Coast Swing. This topic came up. Why did this topic come up, Miss Megan?
This came up in a beginner class. Someone was asking about their feet and why they looked so blocky, as we say.
And so I have a theory that if it's happening here in Louisville, Kentucky, it's a question you guys have all around the country and all around the world. So we're gonna cover it in a couple of different ways. So the 3 things we're gonna talk about the basic patterns, and just 3 basic patterns that you should focus on. And this is something that I have my private lesson students do. Number 2, we're gonna talk about what to do with our footwork, and then we're gonna give you some techniques within connection, and we're gonna get to that. So the way I would look at West Coast Swing is there's 3 basic patterns. There's some sort of a push pattern, right? So obviously something like a sugar push, but even tucks are push pattern footwork. So that's the first of our basics. The second of our basics are any side passes, right? Those are 6 count patterns where my partner passes, whether it's a right or left side pass. It's just a side pass. So that's the second basic. And the third one we know is the maddening 8 count whip. And I want you guys to make sure to stay to the end of the video because we have some pretty cool teaching techniques for the whip that's going to help you stop looking or even feeling like a beginner. So what I want you to do is make sure that you can dance your push, pass, and whip footwork. So the way we do this in Dance Louisville is we just do our sugar push footwork followed by a right side pass or underarm turn just by ourselves, followed by a whip, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I want you to be able to do that to a song. So pick your favorite song, and when you can dance that to music with no partner, no connection, you've leveled up from your own side. So that's number 1, right? That's gonna get us moving and be comfortable. Number 2, Megan touched on, it's called rolling through your feet. One of my coaches said early in my dance career, Brian, you dance like you have blocks on the bottom of your feet, right? So this is what beginner West Coast Swing looks like typically. It's very plotty, and you know what? We're excited that we can even get the footwork in. So that's good. But the second thing we want to focus on is rolling through our feet. So I want you to imagine that your foot is not flat on the bottom, that it can roll toe to heel, it can roll heel to toe, it can roll inside to outside, or even sometimes outside inside. So what I want to do is just walk backwards about 4 walks. And as the leader, I'm going to trace my toe and I'm going to connect the ball of my foot as I roll through my heel. Then I'm going to trace my toe, connect the ball of my foot, roll through. And I'm going to do it 2 more times. 1, 2, right? Now, as the follower coming forward, Megan's going to discuss that.
Follower, the easiest thing to do to roll through your feet is go heel to toe. There is an option to go toe to heel, but it's much harder, so we're going to stick with the easier one for today. So you're going to go heel all the way through to your toe. You come through, heel to toe. Come through, you strike your heel and come through, heel and roll to your toe.
And if we reversed it with the leaders going, it's the same thing. I can walk heel to toe. It's not the only way to roll through my feet going forwards, but we found after years and years and years that it's the easiest way, right? So now if we put that into our push, pass, and whip footwork, we're going to roll through a 1, 2. Now as I triple step, I don't want to plod. I want to roll, roll, and step, and then roll, roll, roll.
I say like mushing grapes.
Mushing grapes, I've never heard you say that. It's pretty fun. So if we do the right side pass footwork, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Another pro tip too, we didn't actually cover this in our setup for this video, is to not disconnect your feet from the floor. In most high-level dancing, you're not gonna see the dancers disconnect their feet from the floor. What I mean by that, and we covered this as we walked, we're tracing our foot, right? So instead of picking it up and plotting it, which looks a little marchy, right? I want to trace my foot if we're doing our push footwork, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. Now you'll see in high-level dancing, people will do accents with their feet, but more with their feet, but more often than not, you're gonna see it connected to the floor. So first tip, go through your push, pass, and whip footwork by yourself to music. You could do it with a partner if you want, but I like to do it by yourself because that disconnects connection from being a problem and it just connects you to the music. Second thing, drill the rolling through your feet slowly, then work it into your basic patterns. Third thing, and Megan talked about this in the setup to the video, is connection. So in West Coast Swing, we have 2 main connections we have to master. We have an away connection and we have a towards connection. There's all sorts of words for these, but the easiest way that I understand is a towards connection and an away connection, right? So things I need to think about. I obviously have to have my fingers engaged, right? I prefer to take this out, this index finger out. Megan hooks on over the top. That provides some connection to the fingers. We draw our elbows back. I used to say that if you had a bag or a purse hanging from this, from your elbow, it would create that tension. That's an away connection. The other thing I think about is my center moving away, right? My body mass moving away. And I don't want to move away through my head or shoulder weight, and I don't want to completely move away through my butt, but through my center. And you can use a mirror to make sure that you're more or less lined up. That's an away connection. Easiest way to practice this with a partner, and this is my litmus test with new dancers, is just a left side pass. Because if I can maintain that connection through the left side pass, I'm actually doing a lot of complex things, because as Megan comes closer to me and further away, I have to manage this connection space with my own arm. So that's another thing we can practice, just managing that connection space. My follower can do the same thing, just walking in and out and maintaining that connection. And if we use the left side pass, I have to manage it while doing my footwork, right? So the left side pass is the easiest way to practice that away connection. The push break or sugar push combines both connections, the forward and away. So the thing that I would say to the followers is you want to close the distance about as quick as possible, by about count 2. From here, we're tripling 3 and then there's not a push to this, even though it's called a sugar push. I am sending my partner away with my body weight, and she gets to the end of that connection, and then we anchor step. So as a drill, I would try to close that connection, 1, 2, by about count 2. We go 3 and 4 and get to the end of the connection by the end of 4, and then we anchor 5 and 6. If I add something more advanced, I know this is a beginner-based video, if I add something more advanced, this is the way that we thought about our connection when we competed and the way we teach it from a little bit of a higher level. If my connection on my anchor step is a 10, it's a 10 for you, right? So whether your 10 is very light or very heavy, it's a 10 for you where you feel good and connected. On count 4, I want to be at about half of that 10. I want to be at a 5. So if I did this drill, 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's count 4. I want that about half of the connection that I'm going to get when I finish my anchor step, right? Because as I'm rolling through my feet, as we're segmenting this together, I'm moving my body away. I have to have some elasticity, and the connection's building, and that's what gets that elasticity. Cool? Hey, sorry to interrupt, but we get a lot of questions about where we get our dance shoes, these red shoes that I wear in the videos, and where Megan gets her boots. We did an entire video and a blog post over on our website showing you our favorite dance shoes and where we get our shoes personally. It's a company named Dance Shoes of Tennessee, but you can get all the information on the cool shoes that we wear in the videos and the other recommendations we have in the link here or in the description below. Now back to the video. So if we go through this again, and we're going to cover the whip. This is my favorite part of connection, so you don't look like a beginner dancer. Practice your push, pass, and whip footwork to music by yourself preferably. Practice your left side, or rolling through your feet. We want to practice rolling through our feet by ourselves, right? Doing your triple steps. We even have a footwork video. You can Google West Coast Swing footwork, and we've got a cool video that will talk about that in more detail. And then finally the whip, because the whip has a cool connection on the far side that gets no love. And so when we travel and teach, I love to teach this connection on this side of the whip. We all know that we're connected away here, but 2, 3, and we're also connected away on this side, right? Which, by the way, watch this. If I spun myself back around, this looks a lot like our sugar push connection. It's an away connection. It's just connected into this hand. So if I do it this way, and then we're going to tell you how we achieve this. 3 and bingo. So can you talk about the footwork for the followers?
Yes, so followers, we have 1 turning, 2, and then we have 3 and, where you want to bring your feet back and together, or sometimes back, depending on how far you have to fill that connection out. So if I did that from the top, we have 1, 2, 3, and. So you want to make sure that you're getting all the way back on that left foot.
So what I like to do when we teach is I talk about, I'll be the follower here. I usually take the biggest leader in the room, a big strong looking guy, and then I talk about this connection with my back, right? And I say, we're told to pull our lats down, we're told to pull our centers away, we're told to connect, we're told to take our head weight back, our hip weight back, all this stuff. But if I just literally take my weight back and into my heels, I can typically pull over the strongest guy in the room at least the first time till they hunker down, they get it, right? So that's where Miss Megan is going to be connected 3 and with her feet down and connected to the floor. That provides a nice strong connection. Now, what if you're dancing with a leader that doesn't connect that way? No big deal. You can still create the elasticity within your own body. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And the way that I describe this is like a half pipe where the skaters jump in and they scoop across the side and they head up and then they come back down. We all know they're coming back down, but there's a deceleration and a hang moment and an acceleration back down. And that's the way the whip will look. It accelerates through the middle, it decelerates, and it accelerates through the middle and decelerates, right? From a leader's perspective, I'm allowing that to go on. I'm gonna do it from this side. And some keys to do this is I wanna make sure that Miss Megan turns around in front of me, more or less in front of me, right? She doesn't get past me on count 2, because that's gonna leave us no room to get there. So there can be a bunch of problems for that, but let's just say small steps for the followers and leaders. You want to have her turn around in front of you. That, leaders, allows you to allow her to go back, lead her to go back even, or even send her back with your arms for 3 and, right, to get to the end of that. Now, I don't need to pull with my right hand. As I step across, that's already going to begin that process down the slot. And you want one more advanced tip? We said there's a delay on the 3 and. You can use that heel lead for rolling through your feet. 1, 2, 3 and. As you start with that heel as the follower, I'm going to take my foot out of the way, there's a delay in that which will help you look smooth and help you not look like a beginner in West Coast swing. All right, hey, you made it to the end of the video, and I've got something really cool for you. If you really want to level up your West Coast swing as a beginner, we have something called the Ultimate Guide for Beginners. It includes, obviously, all of your basic patterns. It includes the 7 patterns you should learn next, but probably more importantly, it covers some of the topics like this in terms of some basic turn technique and styling and connection concepts that you should focus on as a new West Coast swing dancer, because there's a myriad of things you can focus on, but what are the next things that you should focus on as you're trying to not look like a beginner? That's called our Ultimate Guide for Beginners, and it's only $7. And you can get it right here in the link here. That's pretty much the only place you can get it unless you're on our email list. We sell it once or twice a year, but I wanted to make sure that you had it available to you today. So pick it up right here in the link, $7. And if you have any questions, drop them in the description below, and we'll talk to you soon.